17 years.
Still into surgery right now. So the first part was the taking the shunt, the head part out, and then the other part is to open up his belly and draining that fluid out.
The lifespan of a shunt.
LPBW, Roloff's son rushed to hospital, Amy by his side. Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Fans have continued to follow the Roloff family on Little People, Big World for years, from the long-running show and on social media. Recently, news has come out that one of the Roloff sons had to be taken to the hospital. While there, fans took note that family matriarch, Amy Roloff, was at her son's side. Little People, Big World fans recently took note of how involved Amy Roloff is with her family. Little People, Big World is a TLC series that initially premiered back in 2006. The series revolved around the Roloff family, initially headed by Matt and Amy, and their 4 children, Zach, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob. As seen on the show, Matt, Amy, and Zach have dwarfism. Amy and Matt, who were married in 1987, ultimately divorced in 2016. Since then, Amy married Chris Merrick in 2021. Recently, on social media, fans have taken note of how involved Amy is with her family. As one fan wrote, Amy truly is the real MVP of the Roloff family. The commenter continued, she really is such a great mom/grandma and is always there to help when her family needs her. Also, glad to hear Jacob is okay and feeling better. Included in the post was a screenshot of Amy visiting her son Jacob in the hospital while he was lying down in a bed. As the caption wrote, reminder to stay hydrated. Jacob just got heat stroke/exhaustion yesterday, and it landed him in the ER. Jacob was the first family member to leave the series, especially if you work outside or on a farm. Please be careful. He's feeling better, but still not 100%. Amy is an angel and came and took him. So I could stay with Mateo and preserve some energy to be a mom the next day. She really is such a good mom. Jacob George is the youngest of Amy and Matt's 4 children. As noted by the post, he currently lives and works on the family farm. He is married to Isabel Sophia Rock, who is believed to be the one who shared the post. The couple have a son, Mateo, who was born in late 2021. As noted by Us Weekly, Jacob was the first of the family to leave Little People, Big World. Back in March 2025, he explained his decision on Instagram. He shared, "This spring marks 10 years since I got my money from the show. I was on for over 10 years of my life. I was 18 and finally had the agency to not sign the contract, so I didn't, and promptly left home, mostly due to disgust for the show and reality TV in general." Hey guys, we're Jeremy and Audrey Roloff, and we're excited to finally answer one of the most common questions we get. How exactly do we make money? As former reality TV personalities turned full-time influencers and entrepreneurs, our income doesn't come from just one place. It's a combination of multiple revenue streams built over years of intentional effort, planning, and adapting. Being in the public eye has certainly helped open doors, but we've put a lot of work into building a brand that's rooted in authenticity, faith, and family. We want to be transparent with you because we know the influencer world can be confusing. So today, we're pulling back the curtain to explain where our income really comes from and how it all works. Social media is one of the more obvious platforms people associate with influencers. Between Instagram, Facebook, and other platforms, we've built a significant following, and that has enabled us to partner with brands we genuinely use and love. When we share sponsored posts, it's not just about posting a picture with the product. It involves creative planning, aligning with the brand's message, and making sure it feels authentic to our audience. Sponsored content is a solid income stream for us, but we're really careful about what we choose to promote. We've always believed that if we're going to share something with our audience, It needs to be something we actually believe in and use in our home or lives. The range for brand deals depends on the size of the campaign, but it's one of the areas where we found both consistency and flexibility. Some brands we partner with just once, while others return for long-term partnerships. In addition to sponsored content, we do affiliate marketing. This is where we share products through special links. When someone makes a purchase using our link, we earn a small commission. Over time, and with a strong and engaged audience, those commissions add up. We link through Amazon, Like to Know It, and other platforms that make it easy for us to share what we use and where we get it. Whether it's a favorite kitchen gadget, a book, a clothing item, or something from a home renovation project, affiliate links have become a natural part of how we serve our audience and earn income at the same time. It's low maintenance and passive once the content is up. Books are another big source of income for us. We've written a few now: A Love Letter Life, Creative Love, and The Marriage Journal. Our books have been published traditionally, which means we earn royalties based on the number of copies sold. In addition to royalties, we've had book advances for certain projects. Writing books has been such a meaningful part of our journey because we get to dive deeper into topics that matter to us: love, marriage, family, faith. We've also self-published The Marriage Journal, which we sell directly through our online store. That means we get to keep more of the profit and have total control over pricing, packaging, and distribution. Our audience has been incredibly supportive, and our books have consistently performed well, so it continues to be a rewarding and reliable income source. The online shop is something we've poured a lot of time and heart into. Over the years, we've sold a variety of products: physical journals, seasonal items, apparel, accessories, candles, and gift bundles. The shop isn't just a random collection of merchandise. It's built around themes of intentional living, marriage, and home. We curate each product with purpose, and we're often involved in the design process from beginning to end. Running a physical product business does come with more challenges than digital products. There's inventory management, customer service, shipping logistics, but it also allows us to offer something tangible that brings our brand to life. When people gift one of our products or start using the Marriage Journal as part of their weekly rhythm, it connects us in a deeper way. The shop has peak seasons, especially around holidays and gift-giving occasions, but we've developed strategies to create consistent revenue throughout the year with limited drops, promotions, and evergreen bestsellers. We also create digital products, which have been some of the most flexible and high-margin offerings. These include guides, printable resources, mini ebooks, and workshop materials. We've made downloads for couples looking to improve communication, families wanting to set routines, and individuals pursuing goal-setting habits. One of the best things about digital products is that once they're created, they can be sold again and again with minimal additional effort. We bundle some of our digital products into value packs or launch them as part of seasonal campaigns, and we also use them as bonus content for subscribers and email list members. Speaking of email lists, email marketing is a huge part of how we make money. It's not something a lot of people think about when they picture influencers, but our email list is actually one of our most powerful tools. Social media algorithms are always changing, but email gives us direct access to our audience. We send regular newsletters that include updates on our life, encouragement, special offers, product launches, and exclusive content. When we launch a new product or promote an affiliate item or course, our email list is usually the top-performing source of traffic and conversions. We've spent years building that list by offering free value, like downloadable content or special videos, and we nurture it consistently with intentional content. Our podcast, Behind the Scenes, has been another important platform both for building trust and generating income. We talk about everything from marriage and parenting to business and faith. The podcast gives us space to be real, share our experiences in a long-form format, and connect with listeners who want more depth than a quick Instagram story. We monetize the podcast through sponsorships and ads. These are usually based on our episode download numbers and audience demographics, and we either work directly with brands or go through podcast ad networks. While podcasting might not be the highest earning platform compared to others, it's incredibly valuable for building loyalty and deepening our connection with our community, which then drives growth in other areas of the business. We also occasionally earn money through speaking engagements and event appearances. Over the years, we've been invited to conferences, workshops, churches, and book events to speak about marriage, intentional living, or entrepreneurship. These events usually come with a speaking fee and sometimes include opportunities to sell our products or books in person. We love connecting with people in real life and sharing our story face-to-face. Although this hasn't been our biggest focus recently due to family life and other priorities, we still consider it a valuable and meaningful part of our business model. Another layer of our income is creative services and content production. In the early days, we offered photography services, and while we no longer take on client work, we use those skills to produce high-quality content for our brand. Our photography and videography skills have been incredibly helpful in creating branded content, product images, course materials, and marketing campaigns. Doing this in-house not only saves money, but also allows us to keep our creative voice consistent and recognizable. Our home renovation and lifestyle content has become a unique asset for us. When we bought our farmhouse, we knew we wanted to bring people along for the journey. Renovating the home, creating a family space, and sharing the highs and lows of that experience has opened up new opportunities with home brands, DIY companies, and lifestyle partnerships. Whether we're sharing about paint colors, furniture choices, or garden projects, we're organically integrating sponsored content and affiliate products into our everyday life. The authenticity of living what we share makes the content more relatable and engaging, which strengthens both our platform and our partnerships. We also think a lot about long-term investments. One of our dreams is to continue developing our property into something that can serve others, maybe through retreats, errand stays, or small workshops hosted on-site. We're always looking at ways to grow what we have into something more impactful and sustainable. Real estate is something we're passionate about, and while it's not a major income stream at the moment, we see it as a foundational part of our long-term vision. Residuals from our time on Little People, Big World still exist, although they aren't a large portion of our income. Occasionally, episodes are re-aired or streamed, and we receive small payments as part of the original contracts. More than the money, the exposure we receive from the show has allowed us to build a recognizable platform that gave us a head start when we transitioned into other projects. It's a part of our story and part of what got us here, even though we've moved on from that chapter. We're constantly evaluating and adapting. What worked 2 years ago might not be effective today. We've learned to shift focus when needed, try new things, and let go of ideas that don't serve our mission anymore. Flexibility and intentionality have been the key to staying grounded while also pursuing growth. We protect our time fiercely because we value our marriage, our children, and our peace. That means we say no to a lot of opportunities so we can say yes to the right ones. We've also built a small team to help with operations, design, customer service, and content scheduling. Having support allows us to focus on vision, creativity, and family while still keeping everything running smoothly. We couldn't do it all alone, and we're grateful for the people who help bring our ideas to life behind the scenes. So when people ask, how do you make money? The real answer is that it comes from a combination of things: sponsored social media posts, affiliate marketing, digital and physical product sales, book royalties, podcast ads, speaking engagements, email marketing, and long-term brand building. None of these things would be as successful on their own, but together they create a sustainable business that aligns with our values and supports our family. It's been a journey of learning, failing, pivoting, and growing. What started as a dream of doing something meaningful together has become a business that impacts others and gives us the freedom to live intentionally. We're grateful for the people who support us, whether it's through buying a journal, listening to a podcast, reading a book, or sharing a post. Every interaction matters. Every bit of support helps us keep doing what we love. This isn't just about influence, it's about legacy. We want to live a life that's full of purpose, creativity, and service, and we hope that by sharing how we've built this life, we inspire others to do the same in their own unique way. Whether you're starting a business, pursuing a dream, or simply trying to live more intentionally, know that it's possible to build something beautiful one step at a time. Pumpkin season at Roloff Farms. Tori was working a seasonal job helping guests, organizing hair rides, and overseeing kid-friendly activities. Zach had been living and working on the farm his entire life, but rarely ventured into dating due to insecurities about his height. Tori's energy and warmth quickly caught his attention, and over time, the two began spending more time together. It started casually with friendly chats, but quickly turned into deeper conversations. They bonded over their love of children, outdoor activities, and photography. Tori's easygoing personality and acceptance made Zach feel seen, something he had rarely experienced. As their connection deepened, Zach hesitated. He feared rejection, wondered if an average-sized girl could truly understand and accept his life with dwarfism. Tori, however, saw something special in Zach, his kindness, loyalty, and heart. They began officially dating and soon found themselves inseparable. From family dinners at the Roloffs to spontaneous hikes and quiet movie nights, their bond only grew. The relationship quickly became public on the show, and fans were instantly supportive. Zach, who had always been quieter than his siblings, found in Tori a partner who encouraged him, respected him, and built him up. They dated for several years before Zach proposed. In 2015, he set up a simple yet heartfelt proposal at the farm, surrounded by fairy lights and quiet fields. Tori said yes, overwhelmed with emotion. Their wedding took place on July 25, 2015, at the very place their love story began. Tori wore a beautiful lace gown. Zach stood proudly in a gray suit, and they exchanged vows in front of friends, family, and TLC cameras. Their ceremony was full of happy tears, laughter, and a strong sense of unity. The couple settled into married life with ease. Tori continued teaching, while Zach worked on the farm and took on more filming for the show. They purchased a house near the farm and began nesting. By 2017, they announced they were expecting their first child. Pregnancy came with uncertainty, whether or not the baby would inherit Zach's type of dwarfism, what challenges they might face, and how they would adapt as first-time parents. Despite fear, they embraced the journey with optimism. On May 12, 2017, their son Jackson Kyle Roloff was born. He was diagnosed with achondroplasia like his dad, and the couple immediately committed to giving him the fullest, happiest life possible. Jackson became a fan favorite, often stealing scenes with his expressive face, silly personality, and fearless attitude. Zach and Tori's life revolved around Jackson. They celebrated every milestone, first steps, first words, first haircut with enthusiasm. Tori was a natural mother, and Zach stepped confidently into fatherhood. They were hands-on parents, learning and growing alongside their son. As Jackson grew older, he became a central part of the show. Viewers saw him explore the farm, help with chores, and even participate in little soccer games with Zach coaching on the sidelines. In 2019, Tori and Zach shared that they were expecting baby number 2. Though excited, they admitted to some fears after learning their daughter would also have dwarfism. They remained transparent with viewers, always sharing the emotional highs and lows. On November 19, 2019, Leela Ray Roloff was born. She had achondroplasia like her brother and father. Early on, Leela faced some physical delays and vision challenges. She required therapy to assist with development, and Tori took it all in stride, sharing candid updates and supporting other parents going through similar experiences. Parenting 2 children under the age of 3 was a challenge, but the couple remained committed to maintaining balance. They showed the late nights, messy houses, tantrums, and sweet bedtime cuddles. Tori transitioned into a full-time mom, pausing her teaching career to be more present at home. Zach continued filming, working at the farm, and coaching. Their bond as a couple remained strong. They took date nights when they could, communicated openly, and supported each other's passions. In 2021, the couple faced heartbreak when Tori suffered a miscarriage. She spoke openly about the grief, pain, and emotional toll it took on them. The loss brought them closer together. Tori expressed how the experience gave her deeper empathy for other women walking the same path. Though the sorrow lingered, they leaned into their family and slowly healed. The following year, joy returned when they announced Tori was pregnant again. This pregnancy brought nervous excitement and renewed hope. On April 30, 2022, their third child, Josiah Luke Roloff, was born. Like his siblings, Josiah was diagnosed with achondroplasia. Tori and Zach welcomed him with open arms, more experienced and even more committed to navigating his growth and needs. Life with 3 children under 6 was hectic. Their house was filled with diapers, toys, constant noise, and endless love. The family's days revolved around routines, appointments, preschool drop-offs, therapy sessions, and moments of chaos and laughter. Jackson entered kindergarten in 2022. His teachers praised him for his curious mind and gentle spirit. He made friends easily and never let his height stop him from climbing, running, or exploring. That same year, Jackson underwent leg surgery to correct bowing. The recovery was long and painful, but he handled it bravely. Zach and Tori were always by his side, cheering him through every milestone in his healing. Leela started preschool and began wearing glasses to help with her vision. She blossomed socially with a playful, sassy personality. Josiah, though the youngest, was quickly becoming the most daring. In 2021, Zach and Tori made a big decision to leave Oregon and move to Washington. They bought a home with more space, a big backyard, and wooded surroundings. The move gave them a fresh start in distance from family conflict surrounding the farm. Tension had risen between Zach and Matt regarding the future of Roloff Farms. Zach had hoped to buy a portion of the land and carry on the legacy. Negotiations fell through and emotions flared. The decision to move was difficult but brought clarity and peace. Tori focused on creating a warm, safe home in Washington. She documented home projects, the kids' growth, and holiday traditions. Fans continued to follow their journey on the show and online. Tori grew a strong social media following, sharing real moments of parenting, the wins, struggles, and everything in between. She started to focus more on photography, capturing special moments for other families and taking pride in her creative outlet. Zach continued filming and coaching, taking great pride in watching Jackson's interest in soccer grow. He remained involved in the community, advocating for dwarfism awareness and inclusion. Despite stepping away from farm life, they remained in contact with family. They visited during holidays and birthdays, navigating complex dynamics with grace. Tori maintained a relationship with Amy and Chris, often planning playdates and backyard parties. Zach continued to work through his complicated relationship with Matt, especially after the failed farm deal. Though they chose a different path, Zach and Tori felt peace in building their own legacy. As their children grew, so did their needs. They faced questions about self-identity, inclusion, and physical limitations. Zach and Tori answered every question with honesty, reinforcing love, confidence, and pride in who they were. Jackson began expressing his own ideas, drawing and building with bricks, asking to help cook in the kitchen. Lila loved ballet and dressing up, singing at the top of her lungs around the house. Joja showed early signs of independence, determined to keep up with his older siblings. The couple made time for each other despite busy schedules. Late-night talks on the porch, early morning coffee together, and occasional getaways helped them stay connected. They celebrated anniversaries, birthdays, and ordinary Tuesdays with equal joy. Tori often said that the best part of life was its simplicity. For them, happiness lived in family dinners, bedtime stories, hand-drawn cards, and kids laughing in the living room. As 2024 came to an end, they started discussing the future of their involvement with Little People, Big World. After years of sharing their lives, they considered stepping back to preserve privacy as their children approached school age. They wanted to give Jackson, Lila, and Joja the chance to grow up outside the spotlight, allowing them to write their own stories. The decision wasn't final, but it reflected their ongoing desire to protect what mattered most. They spent the holidays together, decorating cookies, building gingerbread houses, and watching Christmas movies in matching pajamas. Snow fell softly outside their home while the fireplace warmed their living room. They rang in the new year with sparkling cider, countdowns, and sleepy kids tucked into bed. In the spring of 2025, they planted tulips in the front yard, played baseball in the backyard, and began planning a summer trip to the beach. Written without portions or character narrative, the soft morning light stretched across the familiar fields of Roloff Farms as Jacob Roloff stepped out from the barn. His boots pressed gently into the earth, now slightly damp from a light spring rain. The farm, rich in family history and layered with years of labor and love, had entered a new chapter, one that carried both the weight of the past and the promise of something more purposeful. For Jacob, that purpose centered on a philosophy he believed in deeply, using the land well. Jacob's presence on the farm had been increasing over the past year. After years of keeping a quieter profile than his siblings, he had returned not with a desire for the spotlight, but with a quiet conviction. The long-standing tensions between Matt Roloff and his older children over the future of the farm had left emotional residue, but Jacob wasn't interested in rehashing conflict. Instead, he focused on healing the land and allowing it to tell a new story, one rooted in sustainability, respect, and vision. He walked the perimeter of a new composting area, pointing out the different stages of organic material breakdown to a small group of volunteers who had come to help with the spring planting. The compost piles, managed using methods Jacob had spent months researching, were central to his approach. He spoke softly but firmly about regenerative agriculture, about soil health, and about the importance of not just growing crops, but cultivating the long-term vitality of the land. Back near the farmhouse, rows of heritage vegetables had begun to take root. Jacob had chosen them carefully, each variety selected for its resilience and historical significance. He often talked about the cultural importance of food and how the choices made in farming ripple far beyond the borders of the field. He wanted Roloff Farms to be more than a business, more than a set for a television show. He wanted it to be a space where people could learn, grow, and reconnect with something deeper. The decision to return to the farm full-time had not been easy. Past disagreements with his father were never far from the surface, and old wounds didn't heal overnight. But Jacob had found a sense of purpose in the physical act of working the land. His hands were often dirty, his shirt sun-faded, but there was peace in his eyes. He no longer felt the need to explain himself or to fit into the mold that had once defined the Roloff family dynamic on camera. When asked about the drama with Matt, Jacob kept his answers honest but measured. He acknowledged the pain and disappointment, the sense of disconnection that had emerged when the future of the farm became a point of contention. But he also spoke about growth, about forgiveness that doesn't require forgetting, but allows for movement forward. He shared that he and his father now communicated more clearly, even if they didn't always agree. What mattered most to Jacob was that the land wasn't caught in the middle of a battle. It was a gift, and it deserved to be treated as such. Jacob spent hours studying permaculture principles and had started to implement agroforestry on a small section of the property. Young fruit trees, planted alongside nitrogen-fixing shrubs and perennial herbs, began to form the early structure of a food forest. The goal was long-term self-sufficiency and soil restoration. Each plant had a role, each layer of the system contributed to the whole. It was a metaphor Jacob didn't miss, the idea that every part of a community, like every part of the ecosystem, had value when nurtured with intention. He invited local schools to visit, opening the farm as a living classroom. Children ran through fields learning about worm composting, seed saving, and the interdependence of nature. Jacob led these tours himself, often barefoot, always engaged. He wanted to plant seeds in minds as much as he did in soil. He believed education was key to shifting how people saw farming, not as something outdated or commercialized, but as something sacred and essential. Inside the greenhouse, rows of native plants thrived in carefully maintained beds. Jacob had spent the winter experimenting with different growing techniques, including aquaponics and no-till gardening. He journaled every day, tracking what worked, what failed, and what might be improved. The greenhouse had become his lab, his retreat, and his workshop all in one. It was also where he found solitude, where he allowed himself to dream about the future of the farm without limitation. The barn had been partially converted into a space for community workshops. On Saturdays, locals gathered for classes on seed starting, herbal remedies, and food preservation. Jacob rarely stood at the front of the room, preferring to bring in others with deep knowledge and experience. He saw his role as a facilitator, a connector of people and ideas. He wanted Roloff farms to be a hub for sustainability education, a place where people could learn skills that had nearly been forgotten. As the season advanced, the transformation of the farm became more evident. The fields weren't overrun with industrial monoculture. Instead, they flourished with variety, biodiversity, and intention. Chickens roamed freely, scratching at the earth and helping with pest control. Beehives had been reintroduced at the edge of the orchard, and their hum was a soothing soundtrack to Jacob's long days. He spoke often about interconnection, the way every living thing on the farm played a role, how each decision had consequences that extended beyond what the eye could see. Jacob shared that he had started to view the farm not just as land, but as a living organism. It needed care, patience, and time to heal. The years of neglect in certain areas, the overuse of others, had left scars. But like any living being, the farm could recover if given the right support. He poured himself into that work, not seeking approval or validation, but because it felt right, because it mattered. When visitors came and asked about the TV show or the family disputes, Jacob would smile politely, redirecting the conversation to the composting process or the latest heirloom tomato trial. He didn't ignore the past, but he refused to let it define his present. His focus was on the land and the community that could be built around it. He believed in leading by example, in letting actions speak louder than words. He partnered with local farmers, sharing resources and collaborating on crop planning. He opened parts of the farm to young growers who couldn't yet afford land of their own, mentoring them and offering access to tools and support. He believed in decentralizing the power that land ownership represented. To him, sharing the farm was part of using it well. Hoarding land, exploiting it for profit alone, that wasn't his vision. Jacob wanted to be part of a new farming paradigm, one built on equity, care, and resilience. As summer unfolded, the farm began to draw attention for reasons beyond its celebrity roots. Articles appeared in local publications praising the transformation, highlighting Jacob's work and the farm's new direction. He accepted the recognition quietly, always giving credit to the team of volunteers, interns, and collaborators who helped make it possible. He resisted the urge to take the spotlight, staying grounded in the work itself. At night, after the sun dipped behind the horizon, Jacob often sat by the fire pit near the small cabin he and his wife Isabel shared on the edge of the property. The sounds of the farm at rest, the low murmurs of animals settling in, the whisper of wind through the trees, reminded him why he had returned. This was where he belonged, not in front of cameras, not in conflict, but here, connected to something older and truer than any argument. He reflected on the meaning of legacy, not as inheritance or fame, but as stewardship. What would it mean to leave behind a farm healthier than when he found it? What would it mean to inspire others to care for the land, to think 7 generations ahead? These questions guided his choices. He didn't pretend to have all the answers, but he trusted the land to teach him. The farm continued to evolve. New irrigation systems, powered by solar energy, were installed. Rainwater catchment barrels dotted the property, reducing reliance on wells. Native pollinator gardens bloomed beside vegetable plots, drawing bees, butterflies, and birds. Each change, however small, was intentional. Each step was part of a larger picture Jacob could see forming, even if no one else yet could. Through it all, the relationship with Matt remained civil but distant. They spoke occasionally, mostly about logistics or necessary repairs. There were no long heart-to-hearts, no dramatic reconciliations, but there was mutual respect, and perhaps that was enough. Jacob didn't need the farm to be a symbol of unity. He needed it to be functional, vibrant, and alive. He needed it to be real.